You know that verse in the Bible where Jesus is speaking and he says some hard things, and then the narrator says, after this, many of his followers began to stop following him? Well, chapter 16 in Lingua Latina is that chapter. This is where I lose many of my students, and it's really sad. It's a tough chapter. We start learning here about deponent verbs, and from this point forward, it's all uphill. But for those who stick it out, by the time they get to the end of the course, they're able to read classics in Latin, Roman poetry, and my personal favorite, they're able to read the Vulgate, the New Testament, in Latin. But you got to get through 16, right? And one of the problems in 16, or one of the problem questions in 16 that my students have to send to me for homework is number 1, actually. And here's the question. Que naves Romam adire possunt? Que naves Romam adire possunt? The question is, what ships, or really what kind of ships, or which ships would probably be the best translation, which ships are able, that's the verb, it's the main verb actually, which ships are able to approach or to go. This is an infinitive, and it completes the thought that possunt started. Which ships are able to go to Rome? And Rome is in the accusative case because when it's a city or a location, you don't even need a preposition. You don't have to say ad Romam or ad Italiam or ad Alaskam or ad Canadam or any of those things. You just say Romam, Alaskam, Italiam, Canadam. If it's a city or a location, you can do that. So which ships are able to approach Rome? Which ships are able to get to Rome? And the answer in English is small ships are able to go to Rome. I don't know if you know much about the geography of Rome, but it sits about 10 or 15, maybe 20 miles inland, and the way to get to Rome is to go up the Tiber River, or it was in the ancient world anyway. When ships wanted to get up to Rome, which was a major city in the ancient world, they had to stop at Ostia on the coast and then reload their cargo onto smaller ships and send the smaller ships up the Tiber River to Rome. So only small ships are able to go to Rome. Subject of the sentence, ships. Subject of the sentence, nominative case. What kind of ships? Small ships, also in the nominative case. I always use arrows for adjectives. And the rest of this, just about the rest of this, is a verb. Small ships are able to go. This whole thing is a verb phrase right here. Able is the main verb, are is a helping verb, and they are able to go is an infinitive. And they are able to go to, preposition, where are they going? To Rome, object of the preposition, and the whole thing goes into the accusative case because we're on our way to a city, and we can actually get rid of to when we translate this into Latin. Let's diagram this first, and then we'll head back over and translate it into Latin. So we always start with a straight line and divide it. We have ships. What kind of ships? Small ships. Small ships what? They are able. Now, what do we do with an infinitive? I probably didn't give myself enough room here. An infinitive actually goes after the main verb on the verb line, and it goes on this weird stick here. And then we put the beginning of the infinitive up here, to, and then we have the rest of the infinitive here, to go. So small ships are able to go. Where are they able to go? They're actually able to go to Rome. So that's a rather complicated diagram. Small ships are able to go to Rome. Okay, now that we've got it parsed, labeled, and diagrammed, let's head back and translate it. So, this is where my students are to respond to me in Latin, and often they cannot respond to me in Latin because they initially couldn't figure out what the sentence was asking, what the question was. Which ships are able to go to Rome? If they are able to get past that hurdle, then they often make a bunch of ending mistakes because of the infinitive and because of the verb possunt. So, here we go. Let me give you some of my student answers, or one of my students' answers, and we'll analyze what she sent to me. So, little ships are able to go to Rome, or small ships are able to go to Rome. Here's what one girl sent to me. Parve, right? She's got it in the plural because we're talking about ships, right? And we've already got ships up there, so we'll just put naves, we'll just bring it down. Parve naves. Naves is plural. The singular of ship in Latin is navis, and the plural is naves, which we already have. Let me erase that. Let's continue. Parve naves. Parve naves. Now we have are able to go. You know what? Let's go ahead and stick Rome in, because we know that that's where they're headed. All you do is type in Romam, or write in Romam in this case. Parve naves Romam. So now we have little ships, and we know where they're going. And really, all you have to do is just repeat what is asked in the question. Parve naves Romam adire possunt. It's really as simple as that. The little ships are able to go to Rome. There's not much that you have to provide here. Some of my students will add tantum. Parve naves tantum adire Romam adire possunt. Tantum is an adverb, it means only. So only little ships are able to go to Rome. Parve naves tantum Romam adire possunt. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to leave it there. That'll work. Parve naves tantum Romam adire possunt. Okay, well, I hope that helped you, and I definitely hope that helped my students as they work through Chapter 16. If you're in Chapter 16 and you're in my class, hang in there, stick it out. This is one of the big hurdles. If you can cross it, it's going to be tough in the chapters ahead, but really not much tougher than Chapter 16. So if you can get over this hurdle, you've gotten over a major breaker. Okay, check out my website, DwaneThomas.com. If you have questions, or if you want to complain about how I pronounce Latin, which happens often, make sure you subscribe to the channel below. And if you want to read every trick I've ever learned over decades of studying Latin, make sure you read my book, Via, which you can actually find on my website. So if you don't want to type in DwaneThomas.com, just click on this little tab up here, and it'll take you right directly to my website.